Who is
Excuse me,
it?
sir. Who was on Forge and Fire, Knife or Death? Do you know? The big wrestler, Forge and Fire, Knife or Death?
I'm not sure it's Suzanne. I'll text you.
Okay, no worries. Have a good one. He didn't know.
Who was it?
Welcome everyone to the Tactical Tavern. We are coming to you live from SHOT Show 2024. I'm here at the Tops booth with Craig. Craig, thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. We're excited.
Guys, we're having too much fun
Way too much fun.
at this booth.
Yes.
But we're going to get into some of the new offerings that they have coming to you for 2024 that we can expect later in the year. Some of them are still prototypes.
Yes.
Perfect. You heard it here fast and first. Some of these will be
Yes.
prototypes, but most of them are going to be offered relatively soon.
Yeah. Well, by the end of the year, all of these should be available.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's start from the bottom and work our way up.
Okay. We'll start with the little guys. The first two, really. I'll let you hold that one.
Thank you.
Try not to cut yourself.
Okay.
All right. So these are minis of full-size knives that we make. That one that you're holding is the Frog Market Special. This one is El Chapo. We also have a mini of the El Chete on the table over there as well. When we first decided to do this was about a week and a half ago.
Wow.
And like Leo had kind of had the idea in his mind, and we had messed around a little bit. We had wood cutouts of some of these already that we turned into Christmas decorations. But right before the show, after all the prototypes were done, Leo came to my office and he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to do those minis. And a week and a half before the show, that's stressful for me.
Yeah, but
You
you
had a
went
lot of things to do.
from prototype to full on. It's like this is incredible for
Yes.
like a week before the show. I love this as a neck knife. Are you kidding me? That is like so
yeah.
utilitarian. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And you got the El Chete,
This one's the El Chapo.
El Chapo,
The El Chete is on the table.
but you will be having one as well.
Yes. So the Frog Market Special, because of how simple that handle shape is to begin with, the blade shape, it's scaled really easily.
Nice.
We actually have a Frog Market Special XL, and it's scaled up really easily as well, which is not super common with knives. But I don't think we need to make any changes on that. I dig that how it is. I would wear it as a neck knife, or just throw it in a pocket and call it good. Like it's awesome, cool little blade. The El Chete and the El Chapo, they're going to need probably a little bit more tweaking just to make the handles comfortable and make them a little more usable. But the whole concept was, let's take something that was good as a large knife and make it awesome as a small knife as well. We've received pretty much nothing but positive feedback. Maybe a couple of comments here and there, people saying that's weird, but
They're weird.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They are weird. But these are not weird. They're
These are
awesome. Yes, agreed.
Do we just have a moment?
We did.
I love
Yeah.
it. All right, now talking about
Okay.
awesome small blades, we got this hitter right here, which is very intriguing. What can you tell me about this
Yes.
one?
So the Medusa was designed by DC Blades and Old Squirrel Knives. They have a channel on on Instagram. I think they're on YouTube as well, called Tier 1 EDC.
Yeah.
They do gear reviews. They do all sorts of stuff like that. Mainly concealable self-defense knives, a lot of folders, a lot of gear like that. Cool channel. They have a knife out called the Scythe that's being made, I think in a
Yeah.
fixed blade and a folding
it's like
version.
a call style.
Yeah. Cool little blade. So they sent one to Leo and they're like, hey, we're thinking about having you guys do a fixed blade version of this for us in your style, that kind of thing. But they threw in an extra paper with it that was a drawing of this. And from what I understand, they had not prototyped it. They hadn't made one themselves.
Wow.
They sent the drawing and they were like, let's just see what they think.
Hail Mary.
See if they even say anything.
That's awesome.
And so we're looking at the Scythe and it's cool. And we were like, yeah, we could make this. But then more and more we're like, let's look at that other drawing again. Let's pull that one back out. And so we decided to go with this one. When we reached out, I was like, do you mind if we do this other blade? And he's like, no. He's like, please? Like that would be amazing. He's like, we didn't think anything of that. And it's one of those, the first look is like, that's really weird. Maybe it's cool, maybe it's not. But put that in your hand and grab it. Oh man. As soon as you lock your hand into that, it's like, it fits almost everybody that's picked that up is like, that fits so nicely.
Locks in tight. You don't feel like you're going to come off of it because your thumb's on there. And even in the reverse grip, very concealable. You can open some packages with that.
Lots of packages.
Lots of packages
Yes.
with that. I love
Absolutely.
it. Now, speaking about package opening and fun things, what is that?
Yes. So this guy, still no name. Obviously, a lot of people are throwing out like Karambit or things like that. I'm not a big fan of those types of names, but if you are, cool, not a problem. So no name yet, but we're calling it Prototype G1 so that we can kind of keep it straight after the show. There's a couple that don't have names. This one was designed by a guy named Jason Swain. He has a cigar shop in I can't remember what state he's in, somewhere in the Midwest. Cool. He's got a cigar shop, but he sells knives as well. Does a couple other things. Straight up man cave style store. He sent us this drawing. It's been a while. It wasn't recent. It was probably a couple years ago, maybe longer. And this is one where the first couple of times Leo saw this, he's like, yeah, maybe, but not right now. And so I just held on to it. And then every year when we go talk about new models, I'm like, hey, what about this one?
Check it out.
And he'll be like, yeah, you know what? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, cool. But he never said no. And so this last year when we were talking about stuff, I brought it back up. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And it was one of those where it's a perfect example of, we get a lot of designs from outside designers all the time. Guys send us this drawing, that drawing. And some guys, as soon as we come back and say, you know what, we're not really sure, they're out immediately and they quit and they'll never try to design a knife again. And it's like, it really hurts their feelings. We're not trying to do that. When Leo says no to a design, it does not mean that he thinks it's a bad design. There's a lot of knives that look really good that we've said no to because there's something similar in our lineup, or that type of knife is not what we're looking to make right now, or something similar. So this is a perfect example of that, where like the first couple of times it was like,
maybe
not right now,
but here it is.
and then eventually we get to it.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
This is cool. And I really like this for multiple reasons. One, you got the jimping on top. It makes it a great fixed blade. But then when you put your fingers in there, you can drop it off, use it as utility blade, and then pop it back up.
Yep.
So that is actually functional. And then, of course, I won't do it near your face, but
And that
you
was-
have all of these things that you can...
That was the original use for Karambit style knives, right? Is that they would hold it on their pinky and they would drop it to do whatever and then flip it back up and keep cutting things. Is that not
Absolutely.
right?
And
They were
you
not
can-
weapons at first.
Yeah, that style of blade is like a scythe, right? You've been using
Yeah.
it for farming for tons of years, and now you have it in a kukri version with a little rang on. I love that. Now,
Yeah.
speaking about fighting blade, because the Karambit is synonymous with fighting,
Yep.
what is this? Because
So-
this piqued my interest.
Have you ever heard of Bram Frank?
I have indeed.
Old school guy.
Yeah, kinetic opening.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So this is the Abanico.
Fan. Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Old, at this point, this design's what, 15 or 20 years old.
Wow.
They used to be made by Ontario. There's some folding versions of this out there. There's a couple of different sizes of blade, custom versions, lots of this knife out there. But over the last several years, nobody's made it. And Bram has kind of been looking for somebody to bring it back. He's approached almost another example like the last one. He's approached us multiple times. So when he first did the one with Ontario, Bram and Mike were actually talking, and they were going back and forth about it, and they kind of prototyped together. They did some stuff together, and so Bram and Mike were tight, not necessarily like super close friends, but in an industry like this where you see each other a couple times a year, that's about as close. They're about as close as they could get, and he kept bringing it to us, and he just kept telling me, like, I don't want anybody else to make it. Only guys I would want to make it is you guys. And so finally this year, Leo's like, you know what, man, let's do it. Let's bring this thing back out.
Wow.
One thing that I thought was super cool about this little whoop-de-doo after the handle here.
Whoop-de-doo.
He's got a word for it, but I always forget.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. There's a weird transition from the handle to that guard, right?
Gotcha. With that.
So what that is when you stab something and your hand starts to slip,
Yeah.
there's like a secondary kind of catch where your finger will hit it. When that happens, it's almost reflexive or instinctual to readjust your grip or re-clinch. And so that there, he said that as they tested it and like kind of proved this concept,
Yeah.
that they had guys that would be stabbing, and you could physically see on videos that their hand would kind of like tighten as it would slip.
So almost like a false catch that you're gonna slip and you tighten it even more. Like if you're about to fall asleep and then you like jolt awake, and you have that reflex to get back into the
exactly, because your finger moves and it hits something and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And so you tighten real
That's what
fast.
happens when my finger hits something.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. But yes, so
That's
cool,
incredible. I love that.
Cool design.
Amazing balance, weight.
Yep.
You can use this to pry off blades. That's awesome. Now that is definitely a little bit more of a fighting utility blade. Yes. But this is for me. When I picked this up for the first time, this next blade, I felt hungry. I felt like I wanted to slice and dice, baby.
I know, right? This thing is just gorgeous. This is our second attempt at a fillet knife. Our first fillet knife was we still make it actually. Good knife, based on our Lioness model and our Scandi Woodsman model. So same handle and then a fillet style blade. This is thinner, a little bit wider. So good as a fillet knife, great as a boning or like a meat slicing knife. This thing will be amazing for all of that. But one thing that we did is we matched the handle size exactly to our Camp Creek Fire Edition.
Nice.
Which is an awesome skinning knife. So now we have a couple of knives with the same handle that'll make it possible for people to
interweave.
So I thought that was pretty cool. This ivory and black G10 handle looks it looks so
gorgeous. Yeah, this is called the Streamside Dicer.
Yes.
Like
so kind of basically like a fillet knife. We don't have any oceans nearby, so we have a lot of streams. Yeah. And there's a lot of fish in those streams. So
that's what they do. I love that so much. Now we also have one more. And also I just want to point out, this isn't your usual 1095.
No, this is 154 CM.
Like that. Very nice.
Great stainless steel.
Good stainless steel for cooking and cleaning.
Absolutely.
All right, now talk to me about this big boy, because when I picked this up, I went ham, which I'm going to post a video of. This is not light either. This is a beast. Okay?
It is
like this.
It's got some weight.
Talk to me about this gunting.
Yes. So, you know Adam Boyce?
Yes. Spartan Mode.
From Spartan Mode. So a few years back, he was trying out for and kind of auditioning for this TV show called Forged in Fire, Knife for Death.
Knife for Death.
The challenge they did, I think 2 seasons of that, and he was going to be
Two Lamb and
Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
No, different guy.
Who is it? Who is
Excuse
it?
me, sir. Who was on Forged in Fire, Knife for Death? Do you know? The big wrestler, Forged in Fire, Knife for Death. Okay, no worries. Have a good one. He didn't know.
Who was it?
We're gonna have to
we are gonna have to cut this. Why am I drawing such a blank? I can see his face in my mind, but I can't.
And he did the Hellcat giveaway.
Oh man. We'll cut it. Whatever. We'll figure it out later. You'll Google it and you'll correct us in the comments. So please do that. I get this a lot.
So that reminds me of camping, cooking.
Oh man!
All right, so we got the good thing from Spartan Mode. He was getting ready to go on Forged in Fire, Knife for Death, which is a competition cutting show.
Yeah, kind of like a blade sports
on steroids
type of competition. Absolutely. Exactly. And so when he was auditioning and he was getting to the point, he was like, "There's a really good chance that I'm going to make it on this show." He reached out to us and he said, "I need a knife that I can take that is going to be like." Insane. He's like, it's gonna have to handle chopping into ice and doing all sorts of crazy things and things you wouldn't normally want to do with a knife, but I'm gonna have to do it on this show. And he was like, I have an idea. He does the Martial Blades concepts teaching, and he had a trainer that was given to him by Mike Janich, and he brought that to us, and it's a Gnunting. And he was like, I need something like this for this show. Can you guys make it? And Leo was like, I'll prototype that. Absolutely. So we made it. I think we ended up making 2.
Nice.
We gave him the 1. He's practicing with it, doing all sorts of stuff. I think the knife had to be part of his audition video. So he was doing that thing, gets to the end, and he's a backup on the show. And he was about to get called in. And then I guess whatever person was not going to make it ended up being able to make it. Didn't make it on the show, but this knife, there's an area in our building where I keep all the prototypes that is outside of the public eye, even outside of the eye of the other employees at the shop. So people don't go looking through it. But sometimes I do. because I'm putting prototypes in or taking them out, and every now and then I'd see this one and be like, man, we gotta do this.
This is awesome.
And so I brought it up to Leo a couple times, and then the last time I was like, Leo, man, like we prototyped this thing for no reason unless we make it. Like, let's make it. And he's like, you know what? I'm good. Let's do it. So we pulled that thing back out, and we're gonna make it.
This is insane.
So it is every bit a Ganunting. You know,
Yeah.
it's a Filipino sword, and Tops style. That's a classic Tops handle. 1095, micarta, all that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
So-
a beast. Do you have a weight on this? Because this is heavy.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think we're like 2+ pounds.
Indestructible, basically.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
what it weighs. It's indestructible. That is incredible. These are just some of the offerings that are coming from Tops Knives. There's a bunch more
There are
that,
a lot more, yeah.
that we haven't even touched on, but these are some of my favorites that I wanted to talk about, and Craig was generous enough to let me touch. So
You're welcome.
thank you.
Yep.
You guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more SHOT Show 2024 content. Craig, thank you again for your hospitality
Absolutely.
and for having us here at the booth. Remember, guys, be prepared, be practical, stay tactical. And then whatever else you'd like to say after that.
Whatever that guy's name is, I'm still trying to remember. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Goldberg.
Rube Goldberg.
Goldberg, right?
Not Rube Goldberg. That's like a contraption.
Yeah, that's a different thing. But
Yeah.
Goldberg?
Goldberg.
Is that who it was?
Steve Goldberg?
I don't know.
God damn it.
I think he just goes by Goldberg.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know any wrestlers, like pro wrestlers? You ever heard of Goldberg? Goldberg?
Goldberg, yeah.
What's his first name? Yeah, I think it's just Goldberg.
That's how you know you made it, when it's just your first.
Of course, I remember when we're done.
I'm still recording, baby.
Oh, okay. Corrected. We gotta figure it out.
All right, I'm gonna hit this.